A message tonight for the incredible people of Greenland. We strongly support your right to determine your own future. And if you choose, we welcome you into the United States of America.
Why is a US president so interested in gaining control of a land which is pretty much covered by ice? A land which has its own culture and has been for decades under the control of Denmark. Welcome to another video by Why&How, and let's today understand what is Greenland and why is Donald Trump so interested in taking control of that. Greenland is the world's largest island, which is located in the Arctic region. As can be seen on this map, about 80% of this territory is covered by ice, making only 20% available for its population of about 57,000 people who live on the southwestern coast around the capital, Nuuk. Most of these people living on Greenland are Inuit, which means they are indigenous. Greenland is an autonomous or self-governing territory of Denmark, but is also home to Danish and US military bases. While it's geographically located in the continent of North America, it has been controlled by Denmark for about 300 years. Although Denmark is about 3,000 kilometers away from it. Let's now understand the history of Greenland, which runs through four ages, through different people who occupied this land. First come the early inhabitants. Greenland was first inhabited by Paleo-Eskimo people around 2500 BCE. The whole culture ancestors of modern Inuit arrived around 1200 CE. Then came the Norse settlement. Norse settlers from Iceland, led by Eric the Red, established the colonies in the southern Greenland around 985 CE. These settlements thrived for centuries but disappeared by 15th century, likely due to climate change, little ice age, and conflicts with the Inuit. Then came the colonial era. In the 18th century, Norway re-established the contact with Greenland and claimed it as a colony. After the dissolution of Denmark-Norway Union in 1814, Greenland remained under Danish control. In the 20th century, during World War II, Greenland was strategically important and the US established military bases there. In 1953, Greenland became an integral part of Denmark and its people gained Danish citizenship. However, in 1979, Greenland was granted home rule, and in 2009 it achieved self-rule, gaining control over most domestic affairs. Now, let's understand how and why Greenland became a territory of Denmark. Well, Greenland became a Danish territory through colonization. Denmark-Norway established control in 18th century, and after the separation of Norway and Denmark in 1814, Greenland remained under Danish rule. Denmark's interest in Greenland was primarily strategic and economic, including whaling and fishing resources. Let's understand the governance structure of Greenland. Today, Greenland is an autonomous territory within the Kingdom of Denmark. It has its own government and parliament. It has its own official language since 2009 called Greenlandic. The foreign, defense, and monetary policy affairs of Greenland are handled by Denmark, while Greenland's government controls most domestic matters, including education, health, and natural resources. Greenlanders are Danish citizens, and the territory receives an annual subsidy from Denmark of around $600 million, which accounts for about 20% of its GDP. Let's now understand how the economy of Greenland works. Greenland's economy has four major sectors: fishing, mining, tourism, and agriculture. Fishing, which is the backbone of Greenland's economy, accounts for over 90% of its exports. Mining is another important sector. Greenland has significant mineral resources, including rare earth elements, uranium, and oil. However, exploitation of these resources is limited due to the environmental concerns and logistical challenges. This is one of the factors giving rise to Trump's interest in Greenland, especially because these mineral resources may now become more accessible as global warming has led to some of the ice covering Greenland to melt. Tourism and agriculture are other important sectors. However, agriculture has been limited due to harsh climate change, but some sheep farming and greenhouse cultivation exist. Now, let's understand why Donald Trump is so interested in Greenland. Well, the US has previously shown interest in acquiring Greenland. In 1946, President Harry Truman offered to buy Greenland from Denmark for $100 million, which was turned down by Denmark. The US has long maintained a security interest in Greenland. After Nazi Germany occupied mainland Denmark during World War II, the US invaded Greenland, establishing military and radio stations across the territory. After the war, US forces remained in Greenland with the fixed space base, formerly known as Thule Air Base, which has been operated by US ever since. In 1951, a defense agreement with Denmark granted the US a significant role in the defense of the territory, including the right to build and maintain military bases. Mark Jacobson, an associate professor at the Royal Danish Defense College, said, if Russia were to send missiles towards the US, the shortest route for nuclear weapons would be via the North Pole and Greenland. That's why Pacific Space Base is immensely important in defending the US. China and Russia have begun building up their Arctic military capabilities in the recent years, according to an Arctic Institute paper. The paper called for the US to further develop its presence in the Arctic to counter for its rivals. In January, Danish Foreign Minister Lars Løkke Rasmussen said Denmark was open to discussion with the US, adding that Washington had legitimate interest in the region. He said, we see a Russia that is arming itself. We see a China that is also starting to take an interest. Rasmussen further said, Trump is also likely interested in the mining potential across Greenland's vast landmass, especially the rare earth minerals in the south, which kind of justifies why Trump is so interested in this land. Now, what do the people of Greenland think? Well, the Greenlanders just voted for their 2025 election, which is being regarded by many as one of the most important elections and the one highly scrutinized given the remarks made by Donald Trump. While the outcome of this whole process is uncertain, Greenland's current Prime Minister Mute Edge said in a recent interview that we don't want to be Americans nor Danes. We are collect. The Americans and their leaders must understand that we are not for sale and cannot simply be taken. Our future will be decided by us in Greenland. While the outcome of this whole process remains uncertain, let's hope things work out for the best of everyone and for the best of Greenlanders. And this land, full of natural resources, keeps flourishing and keeps giving their people a healthy and bright future. Thank you for watching this. See you in the next video.